Craft on Tap Growth Marketing for RIAs podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Beach, my co-host, Faustin Weber. Today, we're going to talk about awards for financial advisors. So one of the questions we get fairly often is, usually it's a forwarded email from some publication or entity that's saying, hey, congratulations, you've been nominated for this award, really exciting, and this will help you stand out among your peers, and so on and so forth. You need to pay a certain fee in order to use the in order to use the award in your marketing and so forth. And so it's usually an email that's forwarded to us with our client saying, should I do this or not? How do I think about this? Have you guys seen this before? Can we talk about it? So let's just start there. Like Faustin, I guess some of the more common ones would be like the Forbes, the Barron's, Investopedia, that type of thing. Let's start, kind of how do we start to think about these awards, whether they're worth the fee or not? What are some of the things we've seen? Just talk through that so that advisors listening to this or God forbid, watching this can take away something to kind of use in their own practice and try to relay it on the next award that they're nominated for.
Yeah, thanks so much, Stephen. I think we should just first acknowledge how absurd this entire business model is, right? Like, we're going to put together a list based on criteria that we determine. We're going to put you as an advisor or your firm on the list, and then we're going to turn around and ask you for a licensing fee to acknowledge the very fact that this list exists and that your firm or that you're on the list as an advisor. I mean, it threw us off completely, right? Wild. When we first started working with advisors.
It's like truly a professional blackmail for credibility type of thing. I don't know how to describe it. At first I'm like, this is a total crock. It's just a money grab. I mean, that's probably what a lot of people's first impressions are. I know some of our clients have felt that way. For ourselves as marketing agencies, same thing. We get these two. Congrats, you've been recognized as the top 100 marketing agency for your excellent client service and your blah blah blah. And they have no idea who we are, and they just pulled our name off of a list somewhere and got my email and are asking for $2,500. And I'm like, this is quick delete. I guess a lot of skepticism coming in. When we first got into the industry in 2020, our initial thought was, well, it's just a money grab. This is kind of ridiculous. Why are we even really spending that much time on it? But just like red wine, we've matured. We've got a little bit better with age, and now we're here to share some takeaways. Right? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess the first big question is just like, think of your target audience, right? And you're going to say, like, will my audience, the ones that I'm trying to get more prospects in, like, will they recognize this company right away, right? Is this brand that's giving the award something that they'll instantly recognize and appreciate? One of the advisors that we have worked with, and this has been a long-time client, made a really good point that this is a perception industry, right? Most people don't fully understand the ins and outs of how the actual financial practice works, or really that much about what the offering is all the time. And so an award where there's a recognizable company can help increase the credibility, at least in terms of the perception. So the first main
say something real quick. Sorry to cut you off. On that, I think that's such a good point, because that's why you see all these articles, videos of advisors saying, if you're seeking a financial advisor, here are 10 questions you should ask them, 20 questions you should ask. Here are things you should be looking for, because it can be ambiguous, right? And there's a whole spectrum of advisors, people who call themselves advisors. There's all kinds. And so I think that's where it comes from at first is, it's a perception business. But also there's a lot of confusion, that's kind of baked. It's like underlying. So, I think that's a good point. Just starting there.
Yeah. Nice.
All right. Sorry to cut you off.
No, that's all right. And so
deepest
we
apologies.
see like this, the CNBC award is one that just everyone recognizes, right? The firm award, the Forbes awards, even though they'll split up the states, right? They'll be like, the South
Very smart on
Florida
their part.
top 100, right? And just try to put as many people as they can. But, normally, most of the time, the prospects don't understand all the ins and outs or care about all of the way that it's set up. So they'll just see Forbes Award, top advisor, right? And so there are some big brands that can carry a lot of credibility with your audience. The way that you verify this, one way that I've verified this in partnering with some of our clients is just interviewing. As part of our interview process, we interview our clients' clients, and we just ask them like, hey, if so-and-so advisor was put on this Forbes list, like, would that mean something to you? And they'll tell me right away, like, oh yeah, absolutely. Like, whoa, that would be a big award, right? And then we'll even see, and we'll talk a little bit about tactics to announce, but you get, as an advisor, when you share one of these awards, if you've shared an award that people recognize, you get a lot of great anecdotal feedback that says, hey, congratulations on being on this list. And so that's a good verification tool for you to say, okay, me making the decision to pay for this license, like, that's definitely something that's going to increase my credibility, increase my firm's credibility.
Yeah, so maybe
my clients have told me straight up,
hey, if I'm considering this award, Forbes Award, let's say it's $5,000 for the year. Like, yeah, what do you consider success if you pay that $5,000, and what do you want it to look and feel like? If you need, a couple or several or 10 clients to tell you to mention it to you proactively, say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Advisor, like, congrats on that. That's cool. If that, is success to you, that's great. I think it's just important to ask yourself that question. Like, what do I need? Do I need a number of website visitors? Do I need to, put this everywhere in my collateral and like talk about it often so that I can close better? Like, what is it? I think that's maybe a philosophical question, I guess, but I think there's something there where people could ask themselves, okay, what does it really look like if I pay for this and I project 12 months later, I'm looking back and I'm saying, oh yeah, that was really successful because of ABC. What's ABC?
Yeah, nice. So put some metrics behind it. Yeah, that was one of the questions too, is just like, is this something that I'm going to be proud to share everywhere? So not just the initial announcement that I've gotten on this, like the CNBC list, right? Our firm's in one of the top 100. I'm not just going to be excited to just announce that, but I'm going to be excited to share that for the next year, however long I get, right? Like in my email signature, right? Across the website, in conversations, right? As a plaque on the conference table, if you have in-person meetings. That's a good piece of criteria. If the answer is yes, right? Or a better way to think about it is, if the answer is no, if it's more just like, hey, I don't really care that much, I don't really want this to represent me on my website, then it's probably not going to be worth paying the license
whatever the
fee.
fees.
And that might be a truism, but it's just a different way to think about it, right? This is not just something you're going to invest in as like a one-time thing. It's going to be something for the rest of the year that you're going to want to promote. Some other questions to help you evaluate, how is the pricing structured, right? Like, so not only will they try to get you to pay a licensing fee, but they'll also structure them based on like, well, you can only share. So if you pay for this basic package, you can talk about the award, but you can't necessarily use the logo, or you can use the logo on these types of, like on the website, but you can't use it in social collateral, and you can't use it in, other sales like PDF collateral. Really look at that, because first of all, that's extremely frustrating. If you pay for a license, you should just be able to use it everywhere. But if there's a tiered model where it really starts to limit you in terms of your usage, then it might not be worth it for your firm or for you as an advisor. I mean, you really want to have full access to be able to share this and not have to worry about it again after you've made the payment. Mm-hmm. And then just something to think about, like, speaking of like the tiers, if you pay for these awards, you better believe you're going to be top of the list to know about how you've just been given the award for the next 5 years, because you've just been put on a list in the company saying, hey, they actually paid for this licensing. We're going to hit them up when the next award comes out, and the next year's comes out, and the next year's come out. So one of the things that we've noticed is that depending on when you announce the award and the runway for the licensing, right? Like, you don't want to pay. There was one award that was coming out that would have been a great one for one of our clients, and everyone would have recognized it. I think actually it was in Investment News. they were recognizing a 2024, like it was a top advisor for 2024, and they were giving it out in March or April of this year in 2025. And so we decided not to go forward with it because it's like we don't want to celebrate a 2024 award where it's going to end up being in the middle of 2025. And then by the time that runway goes all the way into 2026, the 2024 award is going to feel outdated.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just like one of these things that you got to think about, like how long you can promote and at what point is it going to run out of its, the longevity. Does that make sense what I'm saying,
Sure.
Stephen?
Award longevity. Yes.
Yeah. So if all those are yes, like if your brand is something that's going to be, or the brand of the award, something you can be recognized, everyone's excited to share it. You feel like your clients are going to be excited about it. The licensing structure makes sense, and you can use your award across all your collateral, and you can maximize it, for as close to the 365 days as possible. Then a lot of times we end up saying, yeah, this is going to be worth the investment to pay for this licensing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, nice. So, Stephen, do you want to talk a little bit about like how to maximize it just with sharing it?
Yeah, sure.
Out of it once you pay for the license.
I just thought of something else too. We had an example a couple of years ago where, so our client was, he chose the award. We chose to move forward with the award in part because he was hoping to distinguish his company as the one who won the award versus himself, sort of like, everybody knew him as the rainmaker, right? He was the one who went independent. His clients followed, and then everybody knew him. They knew his first name. They didn't know his staff. They didn't know his company. They didn't recognize his company name as much. You learn this in the interviews with his clients when we're doing a messaging project. So to him, there was value in, paying for the award that kind of shows at a firm level, like, we've been recognized. It's not just about me anymore. Like sure, I'm here, I'm leading the team, but like I have a great team behind me, and I'm really proud of, the company overall. And here we are, we've made it, kind of thing. So I think that's probably a pretty common one for those who've broken away or, joined an existing RIA, and you kind of like, there might be one person or two people there who are more recognizable, but maybe you want the firm to be recognized. That's just one other consideration I thought of. Yeah. In terms of promoting, sure. Okay. So, I think about this, like if you're going to pay the fee, then we need to get the most runway out of it, right? So we've got to put together a plan, an announcement plan, and then a continued use plan. So how do we announce the thing? Let's make a big splash with it, right? So that could be social media channels, an email newsletter, maybe a video, definitely some piece on the website. We've used a couple different things, like a banner on the website, like a thin banner across the top, a pop-in little, not a pop-in form, but like a kind of a pop-in banner that's on the bottom right of the website. That only shows up after a certain number of seconds, or maybe it only shows up on certain pages. Maybe, obviously a blog post that says, hey, here's the award, here's what it means. Thank you to my clients for, getting me here and helping the firm achieve this awesome award. We wouldn't be here without you, that kind of thing, and make it about them. Those are just a few off the top. Yeah, you mentioned email signatures. Really like trying to use it in as many places as you're legally licensed to use it, as the announcement strategy. And then, on an ongoing basis, I think, same thing. Like I like the idea of, if you have the physical piece in your office and you're doing in-person meetings, that's great. If you're a fully remote team, maybe it just lives on your website, it lives in your email signature. It stays on those. And social media wise, I think, I think this goes for really a lot of different social content. You can recycle things too. Just come back to it in 3 months or 6 months, because people forget, and also people don't see it the first time around. You're kind of a blip on a radar in a social media feed, so you can kind of recycle some of it as well. And then in collateral, maybe you could, maybe if you have a one pager, kind of sharing your process, or your philosophy around investing or whatever it may be. You could embed the image or the logo on the one pager, for example. PowerPoint decks would be another one. Really just bake it all over the place, embed that thing anywhere you can to try to get the most runway out of it. I think you don't want to put it straight on the website in the middle of the website, be right in everybody's face. But I think it is a credibility authority piece that you gotta put together the list of where you're going to use it and how.
Yeah, nice. I think you said that really well. I don't think you missed any tactics. I mean, we have a couple of clients that like to put all their awards down at the bottom of every email newsletter that goes out to clients and/or prospects. So that would be another one. I think too, just to add a quick point, I think the announcement, just treat it like any other big announcement that you might have, right? Like in the same vein as, let's say you're bringing on a new employee, you want to spotlight that employee. You want to have a plan around are your company accounts sharing it versus your personal accounts?
Yeah,
Should
nice.
the personal accounts, whether it's on LinkedIn or even on platforms like Instagram, do they want to share their thoughts or do comments? I mean, thinking through all of that, all the specific logistics, that's a lot of what we do with our clients. But that's all important for maximizing the initial announcement, because that's really where you're going to get that's where you're going to see the fruits of your $5,000 to $10,000 investment for the licensing fee.
$10,000. If I'm paying $10,000, I might get that thing tattooed on my arm or something, and just put it right on my forehead. I mean, geez.
The problem is
get a disappearing tattoo. It lasts.
You're going to have a nice line of tattoos going up your arm because.
Well, if I'm doing a good job, I will. Yeah.
Well, you only have the ability legally to have that tattoo in your arm for 1 year, so you better get ready.
No, they make disappearing ink. No, that's no problem. Or the tattoo removal these days is light years ahead of where it was before. So I hear.
Yeah,
I have no tattoos. My dad he would never let me get a tattoo. Anyhow.
Okay, so let's talk about the most annoying part. It's just the compliance aspect of these awards, because this is something we know from experience, having clients that have gone through a number of these SEC audits that are random. The awards are something that they look for. They definitely look for these. And so a couple of things that we've learned, right? It's very important to make it crystal clear the difference between an award that was given to the entire firm versus an individual advisor. Because we got, you can definitely make an individual advisor award look like it's an overall firm award by the way that you frame it up, by the way that you talk about it. That's what we want to do as marketers, right? We're like, oh, this founder who got this award, that's a team award. And you can do some of the messaging and whatnot in your announcement to clients, but the way that you represent it on your site and in your public forums, you have to make sure in your disclosure, but also the way that you talk about it, that it's an individual award versus a firm. And then, your compliance people are going to have specific things that you got to say. It's usually that we want to link out to the criteria wherever we're posting it. And we just have to reference the criteria so that people can understand exactly how and why you won the award. So that's another thing, with some of these awards, that it's important to look at the criteria for how you got put on this list, because you are going to have to link to that in anywhere that you share it. Very few people, I think, care enough. When we look at the engagement for emails and whatnot, very few people actually click on the criteria or the methodology that you have to link. But I still think it's important, because you may have people that go and look at it. And if you just want an award for existing, which is how some of these lower budget type companies that are trying to, leech off of the advisors actually share it. You want to make sure that the criteria is something that you're going to be proud of.
Yeah, nice. Well said.
Anything else with firm awards that you feel like would be good to talk through?
I think maybe we should explore the disappearing ink tattoos a little bit more. I haven't thought about that until we started talking, but maybe, some of our clients a little bit more forward thinkers. And we can put that in front of them. We'll come back and report back how that goes. Maybe you'll see people at trade shows walking around the freaking billboard on their chest. I think
we just started a trend.
That's what we want. All right. Well, thanks for listening. Hopefully that was helpful. And we'll be back with more soon.